Hello, and welcome to the lore of Braunhaven. Today we're going to be talking about the Orentian ports on the northern coast of Tlaxiuitl. And so on the map you can see that there are two ports listed, but in reality only one of them is an official port, and that would be the port colony of Unported. Uh, they are at the mouth of a river that they named Yuanjin River that they explored all the way up to the mountain range to the south. And they have contact with Papili City. And so far, their contact is fairly good. But the port itself is run by Xiaojiang Zhenqiang, who is that he is the Governor General. Xiao Jiang is translated as Governor General, and Zhen is kind of a dour and depressed kind of man. He just he looks and feels out of place here, and he really has no desire to be here. This posting was forced upon him. There was a political scandal back in the Orentian Empire concerning him and a prefect shogun's daughter. But Xiao Jiang or Zhen Qiang was too high profile to simply execute or make disappear. And so the decision was made in the prefecture to send him to Lucianport, or to found Lucianport, and she was sent off to a monastery of the god Lo Wang, and has not been heard from since. And so this has kind of left Zhen to be a rather bitter individual. He does not want to be here. It's hot. It's a pain in the butt, and he just doesn't want to deal with this. The other problem that Zhen has is that he is very by the books, and he's very grounded for the most part, other than his dalliances with a shogun's daughter. He was very grounded in Orentian culture, and there are certain tenets of Orentian culture that can sometimes get in the way. Things in Tlaxiuitl are very gray as far as the situations concerning things like honor and morality, really. I mean, in a lot of cases, you have to accept that the Actui people are who they are, and they have been doing their religion and their practices for hundreds of, if not thousands of years. And they were doing just fine and don't need the colonies of the other parts of the known world to impose their morality upon them. And Jiang sometimes has a hard time seeing that point of view, or really the perspective of anybody outside of Orentian culture. The other port is Dongyi Port, and it also flies the flag of the Orentian Empire. But it is not an official colony. It was established by a female pirate, Sai Ling, and it very barely operates under the laws and auspices of the Orentian Empire. For the most part, she is a thorn in the side for the Governor General and strategist Nassos Metris of the Trepain city-states. And it has not been proven, but she is known to be a pirate of high repute. She has been known to attack the Trepain ships all the way as far east as Iktaka Island, and she never flies a flag on her ships. So while the sailors that have been rescued from these assaults are off, she will raid a boat. She will loot its cargo, either stealing the boat and towing it back to Dongyi, or sometimes down to Port Boniface Antoine, and or she will loot the boat and sink it. The crew is always either left in pilot boats to fend for themselves in the middle of the Dragon Sea, or she deposits them on Iktaka Island, which can be a death sentence in and of itself. It is well known to be, or at least rumored, to have an undead necropolis. There is dinosaurs all over the place. And even only the most daring of pirates. There is a pirate cove there, but there are only the most daring of pirates bother to port at Iktaka Island. So she's kind of a pain in the butt for the governor general, and it has caused a number of incidents that are diplomatic friction between the Orentian Empire and the Trapean city-states. This is probably one of the reasons, or one of many reasons, that the Trapean city-states have kind of drawn back as far as money goes, funding further exploration of Tlaxiuitl to the Theodorus Islands. Most of that funding now comes from private benefactors who launch their expeditions out of Port Christina on the westernmost island of the Theodorus Islands. Luxiemport and the governor general have a fairly solid relationship with Papili City. Now, Papili City is run by a pair, two people, which is that can be said for most, if not all, of the Tlaxiuitl cities. But Papili is run by King Gukamatz and High Priest Itzama, and they know what happened to the southeast, to the colony of Akroak, being pretty much decimated after the Glaucian Empire basically treated their people from the get-go as slaves. And so King Gukamatz doesn't want to really rock the boat and make the Orentians pissed off at him. But the reality is, what he doesn't know is that the Orentian Empire doesn't really practice slavery. They would not do that. I mean, they do have a form of indentured servitude for some of their their military prisoners, but even then, most of their combat takes place against the hobgoblins on the other side of the mountains, and so they don't bother to enslave them or imprison them. They just kill them outright. And so they don't really have a practice of slavery in the Orentian Empire. And so, but King Gukamatz doesn't know that. He doesn't know anything about the wider world. He only knows what he has witnessed himself or heard secondhand through other Actui that have traveled to Papili. So he opted to take the smarter route, and he actually initiated contact with Luxiemport. And they have a good relationship. They've even engaged in some trade that usually involves Luxiemport sending a barge up the Yuanjin River as far as it can go before unloading with cargo and then making the dangerous climb up very narrow paths and roads up the mountains to Papili City. Papili sits at the highest elevation in Tlaxiuitl, so it is way up there, far above the cloud line, and it is a tiered city. They have landscaped the city into tiers to grow their crops, and it is quite successful. It's a very large city. The high priest Ixama, in a lot of ways, disagrees with the king on how this is being handled. Being of a more evil bent, the high priest believes that they should just take everybody from Luxiemport and sacrifice them to the gods. This may or may not have anything to do with religion, though. I mean, it sounds to most that hear it, it's more of a case of he wants to just eliminate them and make it appear to be a religious sacrifice to gain the auspices of the gods. One of the things that Tlaxiuitl is very interested in with Papili, though, is that they have a huge amount of mineral wealth. Papili has a number of mines throughout the mountains that mine a bunch of gold. And so the people from Lucien a lot of times will mimic or fake interest in the Actui religion in order to get access to that gold. Because to the Actui, gold is considered sacred to the god Omeaquatl, and beyond that, it really has no monetary value to them. It is sacred and therefore not to be used in anything other than creating idols to Omeaquatl or bedecking temples. It is sometimes bedecking the crowns of kings or the vestments of priests as they are. It's not turned into coins or traded for monetary value. And so the governor general of Tlaxiuitl has become rather um, uh, shrewd in dealing with this and feigns interest in the Actui religion in order to gain these idols, which of course he tells them he's sending, or either he's displaying in the port for worship, and some of them he has. That is to kind of smooth over any Actui that come to the port. But in reality, he's shipping a lot of them back to the Orentian Empire, where they are melted down for their wealth. So that is the Orentian colonies and some information about their relations with Papili. And next time we will talk about the Theodorus Islands a little bit. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.